Part 5 Earth arrives. The execution platform stood in the center of the capital city. Kalith soldiers formed barriers to keep back the crowds. Thousands of Velerans stood silently, witnessing what was about to happen. Some held lights. Others held pictures of Dae-jung working in the fields, fixing equipment, teaching children. Hana stood in the front row, her father beside her. Sung-ho's hand rested on her shoulder, steady despite his own fear. Bora refused to watch but couldn't bring herself to leave. She stood with her eyes closed, trembling. Admiral Vorath stood on the platform, his uniform perfect, his expression cold. This execution would send a message to every world in the sector. Defy the Kalith Empire, and this is your fate. Dae-jung was brought out in chains. He walked steadily despite weeks of detention. His body was thin and marked with bruises, but he held his head high. When he saw the Velaran crowd, he smiled. "Thank you," he called out to them, "for everything. You gave me a home when I had nothing. That's worth more than life itself," Hana sobbed. Taeyang put her arm around the younger woman, trying to offer comfort where none existed. Vorath stepped forward. "This human has been convicted of illegal entry, conspiracy, and inciting resistance against lawful Kalith operations. The sentence is death." "I have something to say," Dae-jung interrupted. "You have no rights here." "I know, but Earth gave me a voice, and I'm going to use it." Dae-jung turned to face the crowd and the cameras broadcasting this across the sector. "My name is Dae-jung. I'm a citizen of Earth. I came to your world by accident, and you welcomed me. You risked everything to protect a stranger. That's who you are. That's what makes you beautiful." "Silence him," Vorath ordered. Guards moved forward, but Dae-jung kept speaking. "The Kalith want you to be afraid. They want you to think you're helpless. But you're not. You're brave, you're strong, and you're not alone anymore. Earth sees you. Earth hears you. And Earth is—" A soldier struck Dae-jung, cutting off his words. They forced him to his knees. The execution weapon was raised. Hana couldn't watch. She closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face. Then the sky changed. It started as shadows passing over the sun, then shapes, massive shapes, ships. Dozens of ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. The Kalith soldiers looked up in confusion. Vorath's face went pale. He recognized military formations. These weren't merchant vessels. These were warships. The largest ship broadcast on all frequencies. The voice was calm, professional, and absolutely certain. "This is the Earth Defense Fleet. You are holding our citizen. Release him immediately." Vorath stepped to the communication panel. "This is Admiral Vorath of the Kalith Empire. The human is a convicted criminal. We have jurisdiction here. We recognize no such jurisdiction. Release him or we will take him." Vorath looked at the 50 human ships above him. His own fleet numbered 200, but they were scattered across the sector. Only 30 were currently near SciFiPrime. "If you attack, we will destroy this planet," Vorath threatened. The human response came faster than he expected. "We have analyzed your weapons positions and firing solutions. You would manage approximately 11 shots before every weapon system you possess is disabled. After that, we would be very upset." "You don't want to see humans when we're upset." Dae-jung, still kneeling on the platform, laughed. The sound was weak but genuine. That was the most human thing he had heard in months. Understated threat delivered with perfect calm. Insu rushed to the communication center. "Please, both sides. No fighting on our planet. We, the people of SciFiPrime, we have something to say." The human fleet commander responded immediately. "We're listening, SciFiPrime." Insu took a deep breath. This was the moment everything changed. "We formally request alliance with Earth. We ask for protection under human authority. We wish to join your people." Vorath spun to face him. "You can't do that. This sector belongs to the Kalith Empire." "Belongs to you?" Hana stepped forward, her voice carrying across the plaza. "You don't own us. You occupy us. You threaten us. But you never asked what we wanted." More Velarans spoke up, their voices joining together. "We choose Earth. We choose humans. We choose Dae-jung." The human fleet commander spoke again. "SciFiPrime, we accept your petition for alliance. As of this moment, any attack on your world is an attack on Earth. Do you understand the commitment you're making?" "We do," Insu said firmly. "We've learned from your citizen. He taught us that some things are worth protecting. Some stands are worth taking. We want to stand with Earth." Silence filled the plaza. Everyone waited for Vorath's response. The Kalith admiral looked at the human fleet, at the Velaran crowd, at Daijung still kneeling on the platform. He had 30 ships against 50. But more importantly, he had seen the records. Earth was a death world. Humans were persistence predators. They didn't give up. They didn't forget. They didn't forgive threats to their people. Starting a war with Earth over one planet wasn't strategic. It was suicide. Release the prisoner, Forath ordered quietly. The guards unlocked Daijung's chains. He stood slowly, his legs weak from kneeling. Taeyang rushed forward to support him along with several medical staff. Withdraw all Caliph forces from SciFiPrime, the human commander ordered. You have 12 hours. Forath wanted to argue, to maintain some dignity. But he was a military officer. He knew when he was beaten. Acknowledged. Caliph forces will withdraw. The human ships maintained their formation, watching as Caliph soldiers began packing equipment. The mining operation was cancelled. The occupation was over. A shuttle descended from the lead human ship. It landed in the plaza and the door opened. A woman in Earth military uniform stepped out. She was older, her hair gray but her eyes sharp. She walked straight to Daijung. You look terrible, merchant. Daijung saluted weakly. Admiral Kim, good to see you. You sent a distress signal 8 months ago. We got it 4 months ago. Been breaking speed records to get here ever since. She looked at the Valarans supporting him. These the people who helped you? Yes, ma'am. They saved my life. Hid me from the Caliph. Became my family. Admiral Kim nodded slowly. She turned to Hana. Your people did a brave thing hiding him. The Caliph don't forgive easily. Neither do humans, Hana replied. That's why we wanted you on our side. The Admiral smiled. It was a fierce expression. The smile of someone who had fought many battles and won them all. Smart choice. Earth protects its allies absolutely. You're under our defense now. Anyone who threatens you threatens us. Over the next hours, the situation stabilized. Caliph forces withdrew under watchful human eyes. Earth military engineers began setting up a defense station in orbit. Diplomatic teams started formal alliance negotiations. But most importantly, Daijung was taken to proper medical care. Human doctors worked alongside Taeyang, impressed by how well she had treated injuries with limited equipment. You kept him alive with basic supplies, one doctor told her. That's remarkable. He's a remarkable patient, Taeyang replied. Humans heal differently than we do, faster, more completely. I had to adjust all my treatments. Bora visited as soon as she was allowed. She ran to Daijung's bed and hugged him carefully, mindful of his injuries. You came back, she said, crying. Earth came for you. I told you they would. Humans don't abandon family, and you're my family too. Jiwoo came with Yunbi, both carrying data tablets. The human technology is incredible. They've agreed to share engineering knowledge with us. We can learn so much. Sung-ho entered last, moving slowly. He stood at attention and saluted. You are a warrior of honor. It was my privilege to know you. Daijung tried to sit up but failed. Sung-ho gently pushed him back down. Rest now. You've earned it. Admiral Kim visited that evening. She sat beside his bed, her expression serious. I've read the reports, she said. You survived 8 months alone on an alien world. Made allies, taught them resistance strategies, prevented violence, saved lives at the cost of your own freedom. Earth is proud of you, merchant. I just did what any human would do, that's the point. Any human would do it. That's why Earth is strong. That's why other species are starting to understand what we are. What are we? Stubborn, loyal, too damn tough to quit, and absolutely dedicated to protecting what we care about. She smiled. The Caliph Empire is going to learn that lesson. So are a dozen other species who've been watching this situation. What happens now? Daijung asked. Now, SciFiPrime becomes Earth's first formal ally. We establish a defense fleet here. Other nearby worlds are already asking to join. The Caliph Empire suddenly finds itself surrounded by human-aligned planets. They won't be happy about that. No. But they'll deal with it, because the alternative is war with Earth. And we just demonstrated that we'll cross the galaxy for a single merchant. Imagine what we'll do for an entire planet of allies. 6 months later, Daijung stood with Hana at the dedication ceremony for SciFiPrime's new spaceport. Human and Valaran engineers had built it together, a symbol of cooperation. Ships from both worlds flew overhead in formation. The Valaran pilots were still learning, but they flew well. Humans were patient teachers. You could go home now, Hana said quietly. Earth would welcome you back as a hero. I am home, Daejung replied. Earth will always be where I'm from. But Valara is where I belong. You're sure? Part 4. A human. Detained 8 weeks passed since the Caliph captured Daejung. He sat in his cell, thinner and marked with bruises, but his eyes remained sharp. They had interrogated him daily, using methods designed to break anyone's will. But Daejung was human, and humans were built to endure. Admiral Vorath stood outside the cell, studying the prisoner with cold interest. He was the highest-ranking Caliph officer in this sector, a veteran of 100 conquests. You've told us nothing useful, Vorath said. I told you Earth's general location, Daejung replied, his voice rough from lack of water. That's all you're getting. The coordinates you gave us lead to an empty region of space. There are thousands of systems there. We need specifics. Then I guess you'll have to search them all. Vorath's expression didn't change. I've studied your species. Your planet's classification makes you survivors of extreme conditions. That explains your physical resilience. But it doesn't explain your stubbornness. Why protect a world you'll never see again? Because it's my world. Because billions of people I love live there. Because that's what humans do. We protect our own, no matter the cost. Admirable, foolish, but admirable. Vorath turned to leave, then paused. The mining operation begins tomorrow. Your Valaran friends have been protesting peacefully. It's quite touching, but it won't stop anything. Perhaps watching their homes destroyed will make you more cooperative. After the Admiral left, Daejung closed his eyes. He had been counting the days, calculating distances, estimating arrival times. If his distress signal had reached the nearest human outpost, and if they had sent ships immediately, help should arrive soon. But space was vast, and soon might mean months. Outside the base, the protests had grown. What started as a few hundred Velarans had become thousands. They stood in shifts, maintaining constant presence. No violence, no destruction, just steady, peaceful resistance. Somi had become the unofficial leader of the protest movement. She was a teacher, not an activist, but Daejung's lessons had inspired her. She organized supply chains to keep protesters fed and rested. She coordinated with Jiwoo to broadcast their messages across the sector. The Caliph think we'll get tired and go home, Somi told the crowd one evening. But we're not doing this just for our homes. We're doing this for the human who sacrificed himself for us. We're showing the galaxy that some things matter more than fear. Her words spread through social networks and news channels. Other planets began paying attention. Some sympathized. Others mocked the Valarans for their weakness. But everyone was watching. Wu Jin watched too, but with growing frustration. Peaceful protest wasn't working. The mining equipment was already being set up in the northern continent. Families were being forced from their homes. Standing around with lights wasn't stopping anything. He gathered a small group of like-minded Velarans, young people who had lost homes or family to Caliph expansion, people who were tired of being pushed around. We need to do more, Wu Jin told them. We need to hit them where it hurts. What are you suggesting? One asked nervously. The mining equipment. If we destroy it, they can't start the operation. That's violence. Daejung said violence would only make things worse. Daejung is a prisoner. His way failed. We need to try something else. They planned carefully, stealing tools and accessing restricted areas. Wu Jin convinced himself they were doing the right thing. Action was better than waiting. Inside the detention facility, Daejung suddenly felt alarm. He couldn't explain it, but his instincts screamed danger. He had learned to trust those instincts on Earth. They had kept him alive through storms, accidents, and confrontations. Guard, he called out. I need to speak with Commander Krell. It's urgent. The guard ignored him. Prisoners always claimed emergencies, please. People are about to get hurt. I can prevent it, but I need to talk to your commander now. Still no response. Daejung cursed in several languages. Then he did something he had been saving for a true emergency. He broke the restraints. The metal snapped like plastic. Alarms immediately blared throughout the facility. Guards rushed to his cell, weapons ready. They found Daejung standing with his hands raised. I'm not escaping, he said quickly. But some Valarans are about to attack your mining site. If you kill them, the peaceful protest will turn into a war. Nobody wins. Let me go stop them. Why should we believe you? A guard demanded. Because I know my students. I know how desperate people think. And I know one of them won't be able to resist doing something dramatic. Krell arrived minutes later. He studied Daejung, noting the broken restraints and the prisoner's calm demeanor. You broke free but didn't run, Krell observed. I told you. Humans protect what we care about, even from themselves. Krell made a decision. If this is a trick, we'll execute you immediately. Understood, but we need to hurry. They transported Daejung to the northern continent under heavy guard. He was right. Wu Jin and his group were approaching the mining equipment with crude explosives made from farm chemicals. Daejung saw them from a distance. Let me talk to them alone. If your soldiers approach, they'll panic and set off the explosives. How do I know you won't help them escape? Because that would get them killed. Your snipers will shoot if anything goes wrong. I need to convince them to surrender peacefully. Krell nodded to his soldiers. They released Daejung but kept weapons trained on him. He walked slowly toward Wu Jin's group, hands visible. Wu Jin, Daejung called out. Stop, please. The young Valaran turned, eyes wide. Daejung, how did you… Doesn't matter. You need to put down the explosives and walk away. No. We're finishing what you started. We're fighting back. This isn't fighting back. This is suicide. There are snipers watching us right now. If you detonate those explosives, they'll kill all of you. We don't care. Better to die making a statement than to live as cowards. Daejung stepped closer. I understand your anger. I feel it too. But dying accomplishes nothing. Your families need you. The resistance needs you. Throwing your lives away just gives the Caliph an excuse to use even more force. Your peaceful methods aren't working. They are working. You just can't see it yet. Messages about HFY are spreading across the galaxy. Other planets are questioning the Caliph. Change is happening, just slowly. Not fast enough. Change never happens fast enough, Daejung said gently. But it does happen. I promise you Earth is coming. When they arrive, they'll need brave Valarans to stand with them. Dead Valarans can't do that. Wu Jin's hands shook. Tears ran down his face. I just want them to stop hurting us. I know. So do I. But this isn't the way. Please trust me one more time. Put down the explosives and surrender. I'll take full responsibility. I'll tell Krell I ordered you to do this. They'll torture you. They're already torturing me. What's a little more? Daejung smiled sadly. Come on. Be smart. Be brave. Choose to live. Slowly, Wu Jin set down the explosives. His group did the same. Caliph soldiers rushed forward, taking them into custody. They grabbed Daejung too, much more roughly this time. Krell approached, his expression unreadable. You saved their lives. That's what I do. By giving up your freedom again, you could have used this opportunity to escape. Where would I go? I'm being tracked, I'm on your planet, and running would abandon people who need me. Krell was quiet for a moment. You're either the wisest fool I've met or the most foolish wise man. Probably both. They took Daejung back to the detention facility. The beating he received for breaking restraints was severe. When Tai Yang was finally allowed to treat him 2 days later, she could barely hold back tears. You shouldn't have gone back, she said, cleaning his wounds. Had to. Kids were going to die. You're not responsible for everyone. Yes, I am. That's the burden of having knowledge and ability. You become responsible for using them. Tai Yang worked in silence for a while. Then she said, Hana asked me to tell you something. Your message reached Earth. They're sending ships. Daejung's eyes closed. Relief washed over him. When? 2 weeks. Maybe less. That's cutting it close. The mining starts in 3 days. I know. Can you hold out that long? Humans are good at holding out. It's practically our specialty. Outside, the protests continued. Wu Jin's attempted attack had been broadcast across the sector. Some criticized the violence. Others understood the desperation. But everyone agreed on one thing. The situation on SciFiPrime was reaching a breaking point. Admiral Vorath made a decision. The human was too dangerous to keep alive. He inspired people. He gave them hope. Hope was dangerous to empires. He scheduled Daijung's execution for 6 days from now. Public so other worlds would see what happened to those who defied the Caliph. A message written in blood. When Hana heard the news, she collapsed. Jiwoo caught her before she fell. "We have to do something," Jiwoo said desperately. "What can we do? We're just ordinary people. Daejung taught us that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. We just need to believe it." Somi organized the largest protest yet. Every Valaran who could travel came to the capital. They surrounded the detention facility, thousands upon thousands of people standing silently. Inside his cell, Daejung could hear them. No words, just presence. It gave him strength. He had been alone in this cell for weeks, but he wasn't really alone. These people, this planet, they had become his home. Part 3, The Price of Protection. The council chamber was filled with angry voices. Insu, the council leader, tried to maintain order, but fear made everyone speak at once. The Caliph mining operation would begin in 3 weeks. Thousands of Valarans would lose their homes. Hana stood at the back of the room, her heart racing. She had made a decision that could save her people or destroy them. She had decided to reveal Daejung's existence. "Please, everyone," Insu called out. "We must remain calm and think clearly." "How can we be calm?" Someone shouted. "The Caliph are taking our lands. We should fight them," another voice yelled. "We don't fight," Insu reminded everyone. "We've never fought. It's not who we are." Hana stepped forward. "What if we had help? What if someone could teach us to resist without violence?" The room went quiet. Everyone turned to look at her. "What do you mean?" Insu asked. "I mean the human. The one who crashed here 3 months ago. He's alive. I've been hiding him." The chamber erupted. People shouted questions. Some accused Hana of treason for lying to the Caliph. Others demanded to see this human immediately. Insu raised his hands for silence. "You hid an alien from the Caliph Empire? Do you understand what you've done? If they find out, they'll punish our entire planet." "They won't find out," Hana said firmly. "And this human can help us. He knows strategies we've never considered. Ways to resist that don't require weapons. Bring him here," Insu ordered. Now. 2 hours later, Daejung stood before the council. He looked healthier than he had in months, though still thinner than when he arrived. He wore simple farm clothes and stood calmly despite dozens of eyes watching him with suspicion and curiosity. "You're really from Earth?" Insu asked. "Yes, council leader. My name is Daejung. I'm a merchant and engineer. And you think you can help us stop the Caliph? I think I can teach you how to make your resistance heard. I can't stop the Caliph military with force. But humans have learned many ways to fight without weapons. Economic boycotts, information campaigns, peaceful protests that the galaxy will notice, civil disobedience that makes occupation too expensive and difficult." A council member named Yunbi leaned forward. She was an engineer, older and respected. "These strategies work on Earth? They've worked throughout human history. Not always and not quickly. But when ordinary people refuse to cooperate with oppression, even empires struggle. The Caliph will use force against us," another council member warned. "Probably," Daejung admitted. "That's why it's important that other planets see what's happening here. The Caliph maintain power through fear, but they also care about their reputation. If the galaxy watches them brutalize peaceful people, some of their allies might reconsider their support." Insu was quiet for a long moment. "If we do this and it fails, the Caliph will make an example of us. Our entire civilization could be destroyed." "If you do nothing," Daejung replied, "you lose your homes and your dignity. Either way, there's risk, but at least resistance gives you a choice in your fate." The council debated for hours. Some wanted to hand Daejung over to the Caliph, hoping it would buy mercy. Others wanted to try his strategies. In the end, they voted. By a narrow margin, they decided to let Daejung train volunteers. The next week was chaos. Daejung worked with groups of Valarans, teaching them how to organize. Jiwoo and Yunbi helped him design communication systems that could broadcast across the planet and beyond. Sung-ho taught younger Valarans how to stand firm without aggression. Bora surprised everyone by becoming one of the best organizers. She was young, but she understood people. She knew how to inspire them with words instead of fear. "You're a natural leader," Daijung told her one evening. "I learned from watching you," she replied. "You never force people. You just show them what's possible." Taeyang worked with medical teams preparing for the worst. She knew that if the Caliph used force, there would be injuries. She created mobile medical stations and trained volunteers in emergency care. But not everyone was happy. A young Valaran named Wu Jin had lost family when the Caliph expanded into his region years ago. He thought Daejung's peaceful methods were too weak. "We should steal their weapons," Wu Jin said at a secret meeting. "Fight them with their own tools." "That's suicide," Daejung argued. "You're not trained soldiers. The Caliph are. You'd be slaughtered. Better to die fighting than to die quietly." "Better not to die at all," Daejung countered. "Violence is easy. It makes you feel strong. But it usually just gives your enemy an excuse to use even more violence against you." Wu Jin left the meeting angry. Daejung worried about what he might do, but there wasn't time to deal with it. The mining operation was starting in 1 week. Then Myung appeared at the farm. Hana saw him coming and ran to warn Daejung, but it was too late. The Caliph investigator was already at the door with armed soldiers. "I knew you were lying," Myung said to Hana. "I found genetic traces at the crash site that didn't match any known species in our database. Then I noticed patterns. Equipment getting fixed mysteriously. People acting strangely. Someone has been helping you. Someone with advanced knowledge." Daejung stepped out from the house. "You're looking for me." Myung's eyes widened. "A human. So the rumors about your species are true. You're real, very real, and very tired of hiding. You're coming with us. Commander Krell will want to interrogate you personally." "What if I refuse?" Myung gestured to his soldiers. They raised their weapons. "Then we'll take you by force, and we'll punish everyone who helped you." Daejung looked at Hana, at Bo-Ra watching from the doorway, at Sung-Ho standing ready to fight despite having no chance. These people had become his family. He couldn't let them suffer because of him. "I'll come peacefully," Daejung said, "but you have to promise not to harm these people. They were just being kind to a stranger." "That's not my decision," Myung replied. Before anyone could stop her, Bo-Ra ran forward. "You can't take him. He's done nothing wrong." A soldier grabbed her roughly. Daejung moved faster than any Velaran could track. One moment he was standing still. The next, the soldier was on the ground and Bo-Ra was safe behind Daejung. Every weapon pointed at the human. Myung held up his hand. "Don't shoot. The commander wants him alive." Daejung slowly raised his hands. "I'll go. Just don't hurt them, please." They put restraints on him, special ones designed for strong species. Daejung didn't resist. As they led him to the transport vehicle, he looked back at his friends. "Tell Insu to continue the plan," he called to Hana. "Don't give up. Earth is coming." "I know it. How do you know?" Hana shouted back, tears streaming down her face. "Because I know my people. We never abandon family. And you're my family now." The transport lifted off, taking Daejung away. Hana collapsed to her knees, sobbing. Sung-Ho put his hand on her shoulder. "He's stronger than he looks," Sung-Ho said. "He'll survive. But for how long?" Hana whispered. Jiwoo arrived an hour later. He had been monitoring Caliph communications. "Commander Krell is pleased. He's bringing Admiral Vorath to personally oversee Daejung's interrogation. They think capturing a human is a major intelligence victory. We have to rescue him," Bo-Ra insisted. "How?" Yunbi asked. "The Caliph military base is heavily guarded. We have no weapons, no training, no way to get inside." "Then we do what Daejung taught us," Hana said, wiping her tears. She stood up, her face determined. "We make noise. We make sure the entire galaxy knows the Caliph have captured an innocent person. We protest, we resist. We make this so public that they can't quietly make him disappear." Within hours, Velaran activists were broadcasting messages across every communication channel. They told Daejung's story. How he had crashed. How he had helped them. How the Caliph had taken him. The messages reached other planets. Some ignored them. But others paid attention. A human had been captured by the Caliph Empire. That was news. On SciFiPrime, thousands of people gathered outside the Caliph military base. They stood silently, holding lights. No weapons. No violence. Just presence. Inside the base, Daejung sat in a cell. His body ached from the restraints, but his mind was clear. He had trained for situations like this during his merchant service. Humans learned to endure. An officer approached his cell. It was Commander Krell, a tall Kalith with cold eyes. "You're far from home, human," Krell said. "So are you," Daejung replied. "Tell me about Earth, its location, its defenses, its resources." "No." Krell smiled without warmth. "We have ways of making prisoners talk. I'm sure you do. But humans are stubborn. We're good at not talking. We'll see. Admiral Vorath is coming personally. He's very interested in your species. Apparently Earth is listed as a Class 12 death world. That's quite rare. What makes your planet so dangerous?" Daejung met the commander's eyes. "Everything. The weather, the animals, the plants, the bacteria. Earth is constantly trying to kill us, so we learn to be very hard to kill. That must make you formidable warriors. It makes us survivors. There's a difference." Krell studied him carefully. "You care about these Valarans. That's your weakness. We can use that." "Maybe," Daejung said. "Or maybe that's my strength. Humans protect what we love completely without compromise. You should remember that." The commander left, troubled by something he couldn't quite name. This human was a prisoner, helpless and alone. So why did Krell feel like he was the one in danger? Part 2. Understanding the human. 3 months had passed since Daejung arrived at the farm. The wounds that should have taken a year to heal were almost completely gone. Hana's father, Sung-ho, watched the human work in the field and shook his head in amazement. "No one heals that fast," Sung-ho said to his daughter. "What is he?" "He's just a person, father." "From a different world," Sung-ho grunted. He was old enough to remember the last time the Kalith had come to their planet demanding things. He had been a soldier once before SciFiPrime gave up violence entirely. He recognized something in Daejung that his daughter didn't see. This human was a warrior, even if he smiled and helped with farm work. Daejung was fixing the water pump when Hana's younger sister, Bo-Ra, approached him carefully. She was still afraid of the strange alien, but her curiosity was stronger than her fear. "Is it true your planet has poisonous air?" she asked. Daejung laughed. "No, our air is fine." "Well, fine for us. It has more oxygen than yours, which is why I can run faster here." "And dangerous animals everywhere?" "Some places, yes. We have creatures that could eat a person in minutes. But we also have cities where millions of humans live safely." He tightened a bolt on the pump. "Your planet is much more peaceful than mine." Bora sat down on a rock nearby. "Hana says your people fight wars. Real wars where people die." Daejung stopped working. His expression became sad. "Yes, humans fight. We've fought each other for thousands of years, but we've also learned to work together when something threatens all of us. What could threaten all of you?" "Anything that threatens our home. Earth is precious to us. It's difficult and dangerous, but it's ours. We'll do anything to protect it." The pump suddenly started working again, water flowing smoothly through the pipes. Bora clapped her hands happily. "You fixed it. Father's been trying to repair that for weeks. It just needed a different approach," Daejung said. "Sometimes when something doesn't work, you can't just do the same thing harder. You have to think differently." Sung-ho walked over and examined the pump. His eyes widened. Daejung had completely redesigned the internal mechanism using spare parts from other broken equipment. "It was genius. Where did you learn to do this?" Sung-ho asked. "Earth. We don't have much, so we learn to fix everything. We reuse, rebuild, and make things last. Resources are valuable." Sung-ho studied the human more carefully. "You're an engineer?" "I'm whatever I need to be. On merchant ships, everyone does multiple jobs. I can fix engines, calculate navigation, negotiate trades, and fight if necessary." "Fight?" Sung-ho's interest piqued. "You know combat." Daejung nodded slowly. "All humans learn basic self-defense. Our world teaches us early that we need to protect ourselves and each other." That evening, after dinner, Sung-ho asked Daejung to spar with him. Hana protested, worried that the human's injuries weren't fully healed, but Daejung agreed. They went to the empty barn. Sung-ho took a fighting stance he had learned decades ago. Daejung stood relaxed, almost casual. This annoyed Sung-ho, who moved forward with a quick strike. Daejung wasn't there. He had moved so fast that Sung-ho didn't see it. The next thing Sung-ho knew, he was on the ground with Daejung's hand extended to help him up. "Sorry," Daejung said. "You're good, but humans train differently. We're built for endurance fighting. We tire our opponents out." They sparred for an hour. Sung-ho landed only 3 hits. Daejung landed none, but he didn't need to. He simply avoided every attack, moving with efficiency that seemed impossible. When they finally stopped, Sung-ho was exhausted. Daejung was barely breathing hard. Your people would be terrifying in war, Sung-ho said, drinking water heavily. We try not to be, Daejung replied. But yes, we can be. Bora had watched the whole thing. Are all humans like you? Stronger humans exist. Faster ones too. I'm average for Earth. That thought frightened and fascinated her. An average human was this capable? What were their best warriors like? The next day, Jiwoo arrived at the farm with worrying news. He parked his vehicle far from the house and walked carefully, making sure no one had followed him. The Kalith are expanding their operations, Jiwoo told Hana and Daejung. They're planning to strip mine the northern continent. Thousands of our people will have to leave their homes. Hana's face went pale. They can't do that. Those settlements have been there for generations. They can and they will. The Kalith found rare minerals underground. They don't care about our people. Daejung's expression hardened. Will your government stop them? Jiwoo shook his head. We don't fight. We've never fought. Our council will protest, but the Kalith will ignore us like they always do. What about other planets? Can't you ask for help? From who? Jiwoo asked bitterly. The Kalith control this entire sector. No one dares oppose them. Daejung was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, I sent a message to Earth before the crash when I knew I was going down. It might have gotten through. Everyone stared at him. Why didn't you tell us? Hana asked. Because I wasn't sure it worked. And because Earth is very far away. Even if they got the message, help won't arrive for years. Maybe never. I'm just one person. Earth might decide I'm not worth the resources to rescue. Sung-ho put a hand on Daejung's shoulder. You don't believe that? No, Daejung admitted. I don't. Earth has rules. We never leave people behind. But space is big and we're a young species. We might not have ships nearby. Jiwoo pulled out his scanner. I've been studying human physiology with the data I collected. Taeyang helped me. Do you know what we found? What? Hana asked. Humans are persistence predators. On Earth, they used to hunt animals by chasing them until the prey collapsed from exhaustion. Human bodies are designed for extreme endurance. They heal fast, adapt quickly, and never stop. They're not the strongest or fastest species, but they're the most determined. He showed them charts and graphs. Human muscle fibers, bone density, brain structure, adrenal response systems. If a human feels threatened or protective, their body floods with chemicals that increase strength, speed, and pain tolerance. They can perform incredible feats when defending something they care about. Bora looked at Daejung with new understanding. You care about us, Daejung smiled sadly. You saved my life. You risked everything to hide me from the Kalith. How could I not care about you? That's what makes humans dangerous, Jiwoo said. They form bonds quickly and defend those bonds absolutely. The Kalith don't understand that. They think in terms of power and resources. Humans think in terms of family and loyalty. That night, Sung-ho sat with Daejung under the stars. Both were quiet for a while, just watching the sky. I was a soldier, Sung-ho said finally, before our people gave up violence. I fought in the border disputes 50 years ago. Small conflicts, nothing like what humans experience. But I remember what it felt like to protect something important. Why did your people give up fighting? Daejung asked. Because we almost destroyed ourselves. Our weapons became too powerful. We decided peace was the only way forward. For 50 years it worked. We've been happy and safe. But now the Kalith threaten that peace. Yes. Sung-ho looked at the human. Could you teach us? Not to fight, but to resist. To defend ourselves without becoming monsters? Daejung considered this carefully. I could teach you strategy, planning, how to make your voice heard. But I won't teach you violence. That's not what you are, and you shouldn't become that. Even if it means we lose our homes, there are other ways to fight. Humans learned that too. We have protests, civil disobedience, economic pressure. We don't always use weapons. Sung-ho nodded slowly. Teach us those ways. 2 weeks later, Myung returned to the area. He was investigating farms, asking questions about strangers. Daejung had to hide in the grain storage, a small dark space that barely fit his body. He stayed there for 2 weeks while Myung searched. Bora brought him food and water secretly. They talked in whispers. I'm sorry you have to hide, she said one night. It's okay. I've been in worse places. Do you miss Earth? Every day. I miss the ocean, the mountains, the cities. I even miss the rain. We have rain here. Not like Earth rain. Ours is harder, colder. It feels alive. Bora was quiet for a moment. Will you stay here? After Earth comes for you? I don't know. Part of me wants to go home, but part of me belongs here now. You're my family too. That made Bo-Ra smile in the darkness. When Myung finally left the area, convinced there were no strangers hiding nearby, Daijung emerged from the storage. He had lost weight and his skin was pale, but his eyes were still strong. Hana hugged him without thinking. I was so worried. I'm fine. Humans are good at hiding and waiting. It's another survival skill. Jiwoo arrived that evening with the worst news yet. The mining operation starts in 30 days. The evacuation orders have been sent. The Caliph won't negotiate. Everyone looked at Daejung. Don't look at me, he said. I'm just one man. I can't stop an empire. But Earth can, Sung-ho said. If they come, Daejung agreed. And if they arrive in time. He looked up at the stars, wondering if anyone out there had heard his distress call. Wondering if Earth would come. Wondering if his new family would be safe. Time was running out and all they could do was hope. Part 1. The Accident. The cargo ship fell from the sky like a dying bird. Smoke trailed behind it as it crashed into the fields outside the city. The impact shook the ground for miles around. Farmers ran toward the wreckage, their faces filled with worry and fear. Taeyang arrived with the medical team within minutes. She was a doctor, trained to help anyone in need. But when she saw the ship, she felt her stomach drop. The metal hull was crushed and twisted. Fires burned in 3 different places. Nothing could have survived that crash. Search for survivors, she shouted to her team. They spread out across the field, checking every piece of debris. Most of the cargo had been destroyed. Strange containers lay scattered everywhere, broken and empty. Then someone screamed, "Over here! Someone's alive!" Taeyang ran toward the voice. There, trapped under a piece of the ship's wing, was a creature she had never seen before. It was tall, even lying down. Its skin was tan and covered in cuts. Dark hair stuck to its forehead with blood. But its eyes were open and they were watching her. "Help me lift this," Taeyang said to her assistants. They pulled the metal away. The creature groaned but did not scream. Taeyang had treated hundreds of injuries in her career. She knew that kind of damage should have made anyone scream. But this being just gritted its teeth and breathed hard. "What is it?" one assistant whispered. "I don't know," Taeyang replied. "But we need to get it to the medical center now." They loaded the stranger onto a stretcher and rushed back to the city. Taeyang worked quickly, scanning the body for injuries. 3 broken ribs, a fractured arm, internal bleeding, burns across the chest. Yet somehow the creature's vital signs were stable. As she cleaned the wounds, the being's eyes opened again. It looked directly at her and spoke in a rough, pained voice. "Thank you." Taeyang nearly dropped her instruments. It could speak. And in their language, though, with a strange accent. "You can understand me?" she asked. The creature nodded slightly. Translator, implant, standard, for merchants. "What are you? Where are you from?" "Human," it said. "From Earth, my name is Daejung." Taeyang had heard of Earth before. It was a distant planet, far from the center of civilized space. Nobody knew much about it or the creatures that lived there. Now one was lying in her medical bay, barely alive. "Rest now," she said gently. "You're safe here." But Daejung shook his head. "No, not safe. The Caliph. They control this sector. They'll come. They'll want the ship. They'll want me." "The Caliph won't hurt you," Taeyang said, though she wasn't sure that was true. "You're under our protection now." Daejung tried to sit up, but the pain was too much. He fell back on the bed, breathing hard. "You don't understand. The Caliph don't care about laws. They take what they want. If they find out I survived, they'll take me. They'll force me to tell them where Earth is." Before Taeyang could respond, the door opened. Hana walked in, her official robes marking her as a council representative. She was young for such a position, but she had earned respect through her wisdom and fairness. "Is this the survivor?" Hana asked. "Yes, his name is Daejung. He's from a planet called Earth." Hana studied the human carefully. She had never seen anything like him. His build was strange, muscular and compact. His eyes held intelligence and something else. Determination, perhaps. Or stubbornness. "The Caliph patrol is already on their way," Hana said quietly. "They detected the crash and are claiming salvage rights. They want to inspect everything, including any survivors." Daejung closed his eyes. "Then I'm already dead. Why would they kill you?" Hana asked. "Because humans are valuable. We're from a world the Caliph haven't mapped yet. They expand their empire by finding new planets to exploit. If they learn about Earth from me, they'll invade. Billions of my people will suffer. Taeyang and Hana exchanged looks. The Caliph Empire ruled through fear and force. Everyone in this sector knew that. But they had never refused the Caliph before. Their planet, SciFiPrime, was peaceful. They had no military, no weapons, no way to fight back. What do you suggest we do? Hana asked Daejung. Tell them I died. Bury an empty casket. Burn the ship completely so they can't recover data. Please, I'm begging you. Hana was quiet for a long moment. Her people had rules. They didn't lie. They followed the law. But something about this human touched her heart. Maybe it was the desperation in his voice. Maybe it was the thought of billions of innocent people facing the Caliph Empire. I'll need to speak with the council, she said finally. The next hours were tense. Daejung lay in the medical bay, healing faster than Taeyang thought possible. She had never seen tissue regenerate so quickly. It was as if his body was built to survive terrible damage. A young scientist named Jiwoo came to visit. He had heard about the crash and wanted to see the alien. When he saw Daejung, his eyes went wide with curiosity. You're really from Earth? Jiwoo asked excitedly. Daejung nodded weakly. Yes, I've read about your planet. Well, the little information we have, your world is classified as a Class 12 environment. That's incredibly hostile. How do your people survive there? We adapt, Daejung said simply. Jiwoo pulled out a small device and started scanning the human. Fascinating. Your muscle density is 3 times what I'd expect. Your bone structure is reinforced, and your healing factor is remarkable. What kind of predators does your world have to produce such evolution? Many kinds, Daejung said. Including us, that made Jiwoo pause. Your predators? We're survivors. We do what we must to protect our own. The door burst open. Hana rushed in, her face pale. They're here. The Caliph just landed. They're demanding to see all survivors immediately. Daejung tried to stand, but his legs wouldn't hold him. Hide me, please, I don't care where. Just don't let them find me. Hana looked at Taeyang, then at Jiwoo. She thought about her peaceful planet and her peaceful people. She thought about the rules and laws she had always followed. Then she thought about billions of humans she would never meet, living their lives on a distant world. Taeyang. Can he be moved? Hana asked. Not safely, no. He needs at least another day of treatment. We don't have a day. We have minutes. Hana turned to Jiwoo. Go to the ship wreckage. Burn it completely. Make sure no data can be recovered. Tell the Caliph the power core overloaded. What about him? Taeyang asked, pointing at Daejung. Hana took a deep breath. My family has a farm outside the city. It's remote. No one goes there except us. We'll hide him there until he's healed. Then we'll figure out what to do next. The council won't approve this, Taeyang warned. Then we won't tell the council, Hana said firmly. Some decisions are too important to wait for approval. They moved quickly. Taeyang gave Daejung medicine to help him stay quiet. Jiwoo ran to destroy the ship's data cores. Hana smuggled Daejung out through a back exit, using a covered transport cart usually reserved for moving equipment. When the Caliph commander, a soldier named Myung, arrived at the medical center, he found Taeyang waiting with a body bag. The survivor, Myung demanded. Dead, Taeyang said, her voice steady despite her racing heart. The injuries were too severe. He died an hour ago. Myung's eyes narrowed. I want to see the body. Taeyang opened the bag. Inside was a body, badly burned and unrecognizable. It was actually a training dummy that Jiwoo had prepared, using genetic samples to fool basic scanners. Myung scanned it with his device, then grunted. What species was it? We don't know. His ship's records were destroyed in the crash. The Caliph commander looked around the room suspiciously, but he found nothing out of place. Finally, he left with a warning. All salvage belongs to the Caliph Empire. Do not touch the wreckage. After he was gone, Taeyang collapsed into a chair. Her hands were shaking. She had just lied to the Caliph Empire. If they found out, there would be consequences. But somewhere outside the city on a quiet farm, a human named Daejung was beginning to heal. And though none of them knew it yet, that single act of kindness would change everything for SciFiPrime, for Earth, and for the entire sector of space they called home.